As famed dungeon master Shaggy once said, coming up with an NPC on the fly. Oh me, oh my. Well, can't you tell? They call me Mr. Boom, 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 boombastic. Hello, and welcome to Homebrew, the show where we avoid the crushing dullness of self-isolation using our two favorite forms of escapism, alcohol and Dungeons and Dragons. If this is your first time watching and you don't know what Dungeons and Dragons is, essentially it's like shit improv, but it's like a fantasy adventure. And in this game specifically, we drink a lot of beers and we name the sort of people, places, things of the beers we're drinking. So for example, I started on a beer called Hill of the Serpent by 8 Degrees. And the characters who are played by the other faces you can see on the screen are, they might come across the Hill of the Serpent. There might be a man who's called the Hill of the Serpent, or a woman. There might be anything. We'll see what happens when we get into the show itself. You might notice a new face, anyone who's watched the show before. Welcome, Tony Cantwell, special guest. Hey, Tony, how are you doing?
Thank you very much. I know how personal these games can be. I'm very flattered to be part of this.
You have your own kind of adventuring party of D&D people you play with. Is that right?
Yeah, we do. Currently we play a lot of Fate Core. We're doing a Star Wars adventure at the moment, but I've let it go on a little too long. Because basically they've basically been murdering everyone, but it's actually been working to their advantage, and they've now taken over the ship. And I didn't plan on this, so it's gone on too long.
Especially the women and the children, or is this non-canon Star Wars?
Legends.
People will probably know Tony more than they know us. But Tony, where can people find you if not on this show? You're doing loads of stuff. You're turning out so much content. It's amazing.
Thank you very much. I'm glad it looks that way. I mean, you put something out, you put out a podcast, 1 hour of a week, but you're 23 hours of that day and 24 hours of another day. Can I swear on this, Ben?
Yeah, you can go for it.
Strongly encouraged.
Doing fuck all. But thank you very much.
I know that's a lie.
Tony Horror on all the soch. You can find me there.
Yeah. You can find Tony at Tony Horror. You can find him on Patreon if you like what he does. Subscribe to his Patreon. It's like $5 a month, and you get endless entertainment. Well, like but the week refreshes and more entertaining. Yeah. Couple of quick announcements before we get into the adventure proper. Long-standing partner of the show, Dakota Irish, who makes incredible dice vaults, dice trays. They have incredible dice sets. If you like what they do, they kind of like what we do, and we've been able to partner up with them to get you 10% off their store. So if you go to dakotairish.com, enter in the code Homebrew Show, that's the name of this show, enter that in at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. So if you're looking for like a nice handcrafted, made of Irish mahogany, I don't know if mahogany comes from Ireland, but Irish wood, you want some Irish wood to roll your dice in, head to dakotairish.com and use the code Homebrew Show. Wes, I normally jump to you at this point for Community Cork Boy. Is that okay? And I can just I can kind of hide my shame for that terrible plug for Dakota Irish.
Yeah, that's really good. And the important thing is you set it up perfectly and not in an awkward way at all. You've done it like human beings do to each other, which is great.
Classic segue.
Oh yeah, Community Cork Board. This week we have a new one, craftcentral.ie, which might be extremely useful to everyone currently under quarantine lockdown. They deliver tasty craft beers to you. Under normal circumstances, if you order before 3 p.m, it'll be over to you the next day, but understandably things are a bit delayed at the moment, but there's a really good selection of stuff there, and they're very sound people. I would recommend checking them out. And we have a double whammy plug as well. We have the usual D&D Dublin meetup group. You can find them on the meetup website. They are still excuse me, that was me notifying something. That's not great. They are still teaching people how to play D&D. They are still a very welcoming social group. In addition to that, Wizards of the Coast are officially releasing a load of content for free. You can download PDFs of source books and adventure material, and basically if you've ever wanted to learn how to play this game, you can do it for free, which is really handy. So resources to learn it and people to teach you how. Free. Good. Yeah. Free good.
If you do learn how to play and you wanna chat about it, we got a Discord. Is that what? Did I steal your thunder? Did I jump in? You were straight off to take away.
The cherry on top, but it's okay. You can have the cherry first.
We have a Discord. We posted on our social channels. We are at Homebrew Quest across the usuals, everything except for Snapchat and TikTok. We're not kids, even though we play dice games on the internet.
I like to play pretend, but I don't know how TikTok works.
Yeah, even though we use our imaginations. Yeah, there's no board in Dungeons & Dragons. It's all in our brains. That's how much of a nerd this group of people are, you fucking nerds. Anyway, without further ado, why don't you grab yourself a drink, pull up a chair as we dive into a world where anything is possible, but not always probable. Welcome back to the realm of Hibernia. And this adventure specifically is going to be set in our usual main campaign character, Arlington McGuinness. We're diving into his backstory. So we're jumping into where he was before Homebrew even started. And imagine, if you will, the low-hanging sun of an early autumn sky. There's this dark crimson and purple hue cast through thin clouds. They're sort of wispy clouds. It's a grand stretch of an evening across the west mountains of Baglen, and it almost looks like the fingers of a giant just sort of hugging the world. And despite this picturesque view, this fertile land, which sits within a bowl of mountains, it offers little protection to those good civilians that call this enclosed valley their home. For truly it is the Glen of Life, and all sorts of monstrous cretins lay claim to this land. Traders, farmers, they wish goodbye to their loved ones, making one last big trip towards the markets of the nearest town before settling in for a cold winter ahead. Larger beasts and grizzlies stay on high alert near their caves before a long sleep of hibernation. Miners pack up precious gems taken from the earth to transport to the cities, only if the gems can make it there safely, of course. And near a small mining outpost, we find a particularly nasty group of bandits. They're camped within a castle ruin from the olden times. Boastful ornaments and colorful flags adorn this campsite. If not for them being such pricks, they'd make for quite the merry band of adventurers. And against this lovely autumn evening sky, this particular crew, known in these parts as the Dirty Bitch Boys, have found themselves with a week of downtime ahead, which is where all these characters are. Before Arlington was Arlington, he was in a gang. Can you believe it? Mild-mannered Arlington in a gang? So we'll do a quick introductions of the characters who you're playing today. As if this was a 90s sitcom and the editor only has like one or two shots to convey your character and the personality, I'd like to go around the camp and get like a quick snapshot of who you are, what you're up to. Maybe we'll start with the protagonist of this story, maybe Arlington. What's Arlington up to in this camp of bandits?
Well, at this point in his life, Arlington went by the name Grud. He is a nearly 7 foot tall bugbear. Anyone who knows Arlington would know he tries to keep his hair quite neat. This bugbear is quite like crazy, hair spilling down his shoulders. He's got mud and shit everywhere. He does not take care of his appearance from a neatness point of view, but he is in impeccable shape. He's constantly like performing some sort of workout, and if someone else is not working out, he thinks less of them. There's always a blood stain somewhere on his equipment. He's never far from his great axe, which is either in his hand or on his back. He's often picking bits of meat and bone out of his teeth, and he's generally just a crass, gross gym bro.
So it's almost like the AC Slater of introductions. We see Arlington just like sitting backwards on a rock.
Yeah, he's turned it around. He's actually physically, yeah.
Wearing a Dirty Bitch Boys school hoodie.
Yeah, he's ripped the sleeves off.
Yeah, nice. Moving around on my screen, because my screen's probably different to the viewer's screen. Actually, I can look at the viewer's screen. Let's go to my right, Gavin Carberry. Well, what's the name of your character and what are they up to?
My character is Wylam, named after Wylam Brewing, who have done Telephone with Whiplash. It is pretty funky. I'm not sure if I like it yet. But he is a kobold, so a small dragon man. He's about 2 foot tall, but like puffing out his chest and like has quite a wide stance and walking around trying to make him seem big. So he seems about like 2'3". He is naked, but for a loincloth, and on his back strapped, he has a great sword. which is about 3 times the height of him. So it's strapped to his back, but it's dragging along the ground. He's just walking around, trips over a tree, goes to hit the tree. His hand is sore, so then he bites the tree. His teeth are sore. He's fighting a tree, is what he's doing, and losing.
Yeah, I think that gets us a snapshot of who you are. Lucy, what's your character? I was about to go to Tony, but I think Tony's taking a sip of something, so I didn't want to for a classic spit take.
Sure, my character is inspired by what I'm drinking. My character is Gordon's and cordial, because how else do you bring cordial onto a live stream? In a massive jug. So yes, Gordon's cordial, and he's probably his like montage in the opening credits would be kind of a smash. He's a half orc, a big beefy guy, and his smash cut montage would be like him just violently attacking people, and then cutting to him say like engraving on his battle axe like their name and you know what he thinks they incurred, you know, like using a road, passing through, those kind of horrific rude things that he took issue with and murdered them. So he's sort of like an admin based murderer there.
So both crime and punishment are recorded on the
yes.
aft of this blade. Nice, lovely. Tony, what would the audience see if we cut to your character sitting in the middle of this camp?
We cut to my character, Kinniger Scraggs, named after Kinniger Scraggy Bay, India Pale Ale, which is lovely. One of my favorite drinks. I'm gonna not sip, man. Not speak to you. He is a jacked were-tiger, right? But he's also about 5 foot, which is kind of shorter than the average were-tiger. He's kind of like the rest of Ricochet's kind of body, you know. He's kind of make up for a lot of, you know, and he also wears like sleeveless, long, kind of like hooded kind of things like that, right? But his sleeves are cut up, so he's still jacked. And he's a bit of a sleaze as our Kinniger Scraggs, right? So he would be in the palm of his hand, kind of creating an illusion of a woman's, a little kind of hula girl skirt, right? Like almost like a hologram. And he'd like blow it, and the skirt would go up, and he'd be looking at that.
That must make it pretty popular around the camp, I'd say. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, get a go of that hula girl.
It's just for Kinniger Scraggs.
And finally, Keelan, to complete this picture of jacked bandits, what do we see?
Well, you'd see a quite small, pallid cleric who is a goblin. He's grey, he's quite short, but on top of his just regular leather armor, he's got a mace, a crossbow, a whip, a trident, a net, and a rapier. And he's sort of the wild card, I guess. He's a cleric of the god Boan or Bone?
Yeah.
Bone.
Named after, or rather, the river Boyne in Ireland. The actual river Boyne is named after the goddess Boan.
Okay, I don't know if it was Boan or Bone.
That was an amazing sound effect for a water-based trickster goddess. Nice.
So, yeah, it's a kind of a trick-based cleric. So he'd be, I mean, if any of these monsters had shoes, he'd be the one tying their shoelaces together. But I guess failing that, he'd be tying the hair on their feet to the hair on the other feet while they're asleep. That's the kind of wild card that he is.
No nonsense, by the book cleric he is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the trickery cleric, you know.
Yeah, I think we got a good. I think us as the audience, as me and the DM, have a good sense of the type of personalities we're dealing with here. The kind of little bit of foreshadowing for the type of nonsense we might get into as we go into the show. So the camp itself, to give you guys a picture of what it is, it's nestled within 3 protective walls of an old castle ruin. So there's one wall that's just crumbled away. And inside these hollowed outer walls, there's sort of a wide open space for the dirty bitch boys to set up their tents, bedrolls, supply cabins. Either side, there's a set of stone stairwells, and they lead up to an open platform where the leader of this group, a bandit known by the name of Lambhog, who we've met in the show before, where we haven't met, but we've heard about, Lamb Hog, this is where a plateau for them to address the gang, and also a side room where Lamb Hog has set up his quarters. He is a dark crimson-skinned hobgoblin. He runs the camp with a sort of militaristic precision. You know, if he was looking over the scene, he'd be happy to see that a lot of his men and women and general bandits are just working out and pressing iron. That's a good sign. Good drills happening here. And normally, Lamb Hog would guard his quarters by 2 lycanthrope personal guards, but there's word of a full moon soon. So they're chained up. They're 2 werebores that you guys know. But they're trained up for their and your protection. You are all allowed sort of rise through the ranks of the Dirty Bitch Boys. You're allowed to trim your uniform accordingly. Some choose to wear colorful bandanas denoting their rank. Others tie rags around their arms. Some even go as far as to tattoo themselves with the rank and file position that they sit within the Dirty Bitch Boys. And that gets really awkward if they get demoted. It's like, oh. A pair of large dire wolves guard the entrance to the camp, and overall, the camp is in downtime. Your plan is, or Lamb Hog's plan, is to raid that mining outpost in about a week. You've got the feeling that there's a huge shipment of gems about to leave there, and you're like, all right, this is the big money before winter comes on. But as you know, Lamb Hog, given his sort of very straight way of thinking, he likes to do reconnaissance, he likes to do a little bit of a recce before he goes there. He's taken a week to go, right, we're going to look, see the general schedule of these guys, and then we're going to strike. And he's already sent some of his best men that direction, which leave you guys. Not that you're not his best men, but you're not his worst men. You're kind of just general guards people. And so with all this time kind of on your hands, you're sort of allowed to do as you will, explore the local area, chat about the camp. The evening, this particular evening is yours, and then the week itself, whatever you guys want to do. And it's, in a way, this for anyone who's new to D&D, sometimes the DM does this. It's just sort of an open sandbox game. Pick any direction, as long as it's north, south, east, or west. And I will paint a picture with words in that
Down!
Dig. Yeah, so whatever you guys want to do, the evening is yours.
Do we all know each other? Like, we've been in the gang for a while?
Actually, everyone roll a d20. Let's make it the first roll of the game. The lowest number will be the newest member to the gang. So starting with you, Grud.
I got 19, which is fitting.
19? Yeah, you've been in this gang a pretty long time. You're one of the first members. You haven't rise to the ranks. That's a little bit of a sticking point for you, given how long you've been here. But hey, look, Lamb Hog works in mysterious ways. Gordon's Cordial. How long have you been in this gang?
14.
Yeah, you've been around for a while. You've done a couple of raids with these guys. You're beginning to settle in. Your reputation is beginning to precede you. And how about you, Kinniger Scraggs?
2.
You're pretty new.
Pretty new.
You might even say you were here before they set up camp. They were like,
we saw you were a tree.
Oh yeah, I made you think I looked like a tree.
Maybe you've just been following as were-tigers are wont to do. You know, you fed Kinniger Scraggs once with bandit scraps, and Kinniger has just been following you around since then. He just sometimes yeah.
I'll die for this.
Willem, how long have you been? How long have you been here?
I'm rolled an 18, so second longest after thing, unless Keelan's.
Yeah, Pale Ale. What are you?
16, unfortunately.
16. So the three of you, like Grud, Willem, and Pale Ale, you guys are fairly old hands at this. It's not your first raid. It's not your first set of downtime. Gordon's Cordial. Yeah, this is probably your first downtime. Kinniger Scraggs. Who knows? You're a stealthy cat. You might have been here since the beginning. You might be pulling the strings. There's a couple other people. You know, in general, there's about 30 of you in this gang. The four main sort of personalities, not counting the personal guard. Obviously, Lamb Hog. Lamb Hog has a right-hand man. That is a small kenku, sort of malted white feathers, wears a sort of green I mean, you've never really seen a bomber jacket before, but it would almost be like this bomber jacket and like denim trousers, and goes by the name of
Sick.
Dustin the Kenku.
Oh God.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Long kind of pink beak, speaks in a kind of wet, farts and burps, speaks in little catchphrases, constantly saying to you, like, if you ask him to do something, yeah, I'll be around to do that Tuesday. Didn't say which Tuesday. Wait. That's Kenku's like one joke, especially if you squeeze him in the stomach. The other two, there's two tabaxis. One is the cook of the camp, and one is the sort of mender. And together they sort of look after any sort of injuries. Usually you might go to Pale Ale, but Pale Ale kind of only knows the two spells. And if they haven't prepared Cure Wounds that day, you're kind of fucked. So
I never do as well. It's not good for pranks.
Yeah, so you might have to go to the mender. They are two tabaxis. They don't have names. So in the show, we name people after the drinks and stuff we have. I've got a wide selection here. I was drinking this last time we streamed, but Phantom might be a name. These two tabaxi are twins. They sort of have a dark gray and white fur. One of them wears a green cloak swept to the side, and one of them wears a sort of navy headband, no cloak.
Were they both
so Phantom?
Were they both always medical officers?
Well, one's the cook.
Could one have at some point been a different profession? Perhaps the oldest profession?
Oh, yeah. The male tabaxi of this twin group was a hooker before you rescued him from quite a bad... Normally, Hibernia is quite a good and well-looked-upon sex trade, but this particular town you raided, they did not treat their hookers well, and you rescued their twins. So, Phantom
is the
and
hooker
hooker.
Exactly.
Phantom is the male tabaxi.
Okay.
Wears the green cloak swept to the side, and is the cook. And they speak in the classic canonical tabaxi accent. Oh my God, like you guys are like such dirty bandits.
Shall we explain that tabaxis are giant cats?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Tabaxis are giant cat creatures.
Might help.
I think Wizards of the
Did you say
Coast
that?
added them into Dungeons and Dragons because there was like a crossover, a Venn diagram of nerds and furries right in the middle, tabaxis.
Perfect.
Yeah. The best part is our episode 0. That accent is canonical. You can thank Gav for that.
You're welcome.
They're kind of the main. They would know the rumors around the camp anyway. And then there's 10 goblins, 4 kobolds, 6 lizard folk. Stats that I've written down on a sheet of paper.
Cool.
Show us your homework. Yeah.
Go on.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go up to is it Willen or Willem? How do you
Willem
Willem
with an M.
Yeah. I'm gonna go up to Willem, who is presumably still fighting his tree, and I'm gonna like start fighting the tree as well, but kind of like as in like trying to make it look like we're both fighting it, so I can like sneak a conversation with him. I'm gonna start asking him like, hey, how long's that tiger been here? You seen that tiger before?
I've never seen that guy before in my life. He just showed up one day.
Very cool. Keep it in the tree. Keep it in the tree.
Honestly, I don't trust him. Like, where'd he come from? What's with the magic?
I don't know. He's weirdly sexual about everything. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it
He's
or
like
not.
the kid who turns up with a pen. Like, you guys want to be my mates? Look at this.
Yeah, he's got this weird, I don't know, kind of, overly sexual, bordering on porvy energy. But he's towing the line. Right? He is, he's rocking it. But I don't trust him.
We want to go talk to him, find out what his deal is.
Let's see what the sky is. Yeah.
Go on. I'd say we'll go over and introduce ourselves and say hello to the pervert.
You pass by the two
hello, you
tabaxi,
skanks.
their arses are in the air, classic tabaxi stuff. They're just multiple pink cat arse. It's their den time too, guys.
Yeah.
So I
Here,
say to the
Skags.
lads, as I see them coming over, I point at the cat arses and I say, dinner and a show, eh, lads?
Fucking hell.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. All right.
Listen,
Scrags, where'd you come from? Where'd you go?
Where do I come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Where do you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Willem, that's an interesting question. I come from everywhere, really. I come from the sea. I come from the mountains. I come from the mines. I've lived 1,000 lives, but I've only had one home here, among you, the dirty bitch boys.
How long you been here?
Couple of weeks. Oh, I've got a question for you. I'm a new guy around here. How do I get in with Lamb Hog? What's the story with his boyfriend, Dustin? Has he always been around?
I don't know much about Dustin. He's a difficult man to read. Hard to know when what he's saying is genuine and when it's just him. You know he's being serious when he does what he calls the flaps. It's
Yeah.
sort of annoying. Don't you enjoy it in a weird way? If you can get him to flap, you know you want his good side.
I haven't come to flap. He's taking a mick out of me, I think.
Lamb Hog's a pretty hard guy to read anyway. Like, I've maybe had 2-3 conversations with him total, and more often than not, he's telling me to go away, go fight a tree, that sort of thing. Like,
Go get a bucket of steam or something. Go get a skyhook, one of those things you do to new scouts. You know that?
Yeah, he has told me to do that. Yeah. Have you seen any?
No, mate. He's having a laugh, mate. He's leading you on.
Yeah, we didn't want to tell you.
Knew it.
We thought it was best you found out from the tiger.
Oh,
well, let me tell you,
I
really want to get in. I really want to get in with this Lamb Hog. I know we got this mine coming up, and I really want to impress him. I haven't been pulling my weight as of yet. It's my first raid.
You respect strength. If you can show him you're strong, you look like a strong guy. What do you? 300? You got good traps, good definition. The delts could do with work, but
Thank you very much. I got to say, Grud, I admire you very admire your body very much.
Well, thank you, appreciate that.
And anything for this guy? Any compliments going, or
you're very sinewy.
You're thinking so it's good,
And you took a good few chunks out of that tree, mate. Very impressed.
Nice.
This entire time, there's just like gushing blood coming out of plastic kobold. Willem's.
Cheers.
Splinters.
Here, if you want to look at the get in with Lamb Hog, we could put a word in. We could ask him, is there anything he's doing around the camp that you could do to maybe show what you can do?
Mate, that'd be great. That's just so
right,
nice.
Yeah. I'm nice. Yeah, I'm nice.
You're all
Yeah.
very welcome.
I am. That wasn't. Sorry, it sounded threatening. It wasn't. Just.
Yeah, there was an air about it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I am. Or am I? I am.
Oh, very good.
And then I'd like to go over to.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. I'd like to bring Grud over to the side and say, "Here, will we see what the boss wants him to do, or?"
Yeah, we say we got a were-tiger that's big and strong and handsome and charismatic and it's whatever. And then we go get some if he wants those gems or some. I mean, Lamb Hog lacks results. What if we get a small group together and sneak off and get it done?
Could reflect well on us, I say.
I mean, your action is quite infectious. I apologize. Yes,
I've heard that before.
Every fucking time.
Dirty Dublin confidence coming out of Gavin Carberry over there. You guys both roll an investigation check.
Ooh.
I'm bad at that.
Yeah, Grud and Willem.
The 7 for me.
It's a
Cool.
9.
Nice. You pick up a couple of rumors around the camp, things that Lamb Hog's looking to get done. Hooker tells you that the fresh camp supplies are running low. Oh my god, like our supplies are like so low. Like we have some like dry rations and but we need some fresh meat, if you know what I mean. And I'm not talking about myself. I saw some like classic animal tracks. You wouldn't believe they were fucking huge. And heading towards the woods to the south. If you could like track down like a big prey, get some fresh meat, everyone to eat so well before like our big raid.
I
The
pop in and
camp-
be like, I could give us a big prey. Everyone gather around. And
Oh, my God.
I'll start
Oh,
bringing
yeah,
everyone
like
into a
shite
12-hour
Tracking
mass.
across the camp.
Jesus.
I'm talking about prayer.
All right, everyone. All right, everyone. Sit down. Put your hands together.
From the camp mender, Phantom. Like, if you want to impress Lamhog, you need to head to the odd tower to the northeast. I heard there's like a stone of power or something there, but there's also like a wizard who guards it, and he's like not cool, man. He's just like, stay out of my tower. And I hear he guards it with like vicious animals. But if you get that stone of power and like give it to Lamhog, you'd be like right up in those ranks.
Can I
And,
hear
you
any of
got-
this? Is this central enough?
Yeah, there's just general chit chat happening around the camp.
Well, I'm absolutely on board. That sounds like that man is keeping that precious stone from Lamhog, and we can't have that. I think we should fetch it. Seems the only correct thing morally to do.
At that point, slowly kind of making its way down from the upper level, Dustin the Kenku comes up and goes, wait. If you want there's a barge convoy, if you know what I mean, coming down the river towards Infinity Falls. This time of year, full of riches. Wait. Supplies, weapons, all sort. Rob that barge, bring back the haul. And Lamhog said he'll let you keep more than your usual share of what you get. 20% for the camp. Rest you can split amongst yourselves. Well, whatever you
Charming
do,
Lois.
don't draw attention to yourselves. We're raiding that mining outpost in a week. I don't want the attention of the Fianna breathing down our necks. Had the Fianna on me all day. Which is weeks spent trying to impersonate Dustin the Turkey. Didn't succeed. Who knows?
Watching loads of the Den on
Pouring
YouTube.
over old episodes of the Den.
Yes, no game show. I'm getting,
Roll
whipping out the old
dice.
Den denim jacket, just like stretching into it to see if I can just channel that fucking turkey. And
There's a video calls with Ray Darcy trying to get secondhand information of what
how do I step into this role? Who knows? Maybe when we meet Dustin the Kenku again, I'll have gotten better.
I met Johnny Morrison. Johnny Morrissey. Dustin. He taught me to do puppetry for a show we were doing. And he's the sort of guy. We were bringing the puppets in. He was like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "Tony." And I didn't see him again for another like 15 minutes. And then he was like, "That's the guy Tony." And he remember my name. He's that sort of guy.
Great.
He's one of those guys. Legend.
Nice.
For real.
If you're watching, you can be Dustin the Tanku for real on this show. All we need is a
Phrasing that like we're
table.
doing him a favor.
Lucky you.
Whatever you do, don't bring that mate Snotzer on. He's a troublemaker. Yeah, you get the general gist that there's things to do. Seems to be hunt a large prey, rob a barge, rob a mage. The world's your oyster.
By this time, will we have? I think myself and Grud will have gathered Gordon's and Pale Ale. Just be like, all right, lads, listen. There's plenty to be doing to impress the boss, but I figured that we let the new guy decide and then look over at Kinnigar Scraggs to kind of gesture as in like, let this guy decide. See if he's got the stones to go for that big prey.
A big prey.
Excellent.
Big prey.
No, dude.
Everyone sit down.
So walk over and here, Scraggs, what do you fancy? You can go for the barge, get the stone of power in the tower, or get a large animal for the feeding of the camp.
From my understanding, the job that would most benefit our boss would be to go get those gems and get a share for ourselves. That's a personal message, so it seems, from Mr. Lamhog, and I want in. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, gents. I'm going to lay it all out here. I want to be where that turkey is.
Nice, a man of ambition.
I'm a man of. I want to be his. Get in with him. Be his little. So whatever's going to take. So I think the thing to do is follow what the turkey said for me to do, so I can be like the turkey.
Do as the turkey does. All right, fair enough, fair enough. That worked for
I'm
everyone
a
else.
Kenku. You
The
thought
Kenku.
I'm a Kenku. I'm a magical,
He's from a
mystical,
different
adventurous
region.
being.
Sorry,
It's a
for
I know.
different
I
Terminator.
bear no resemblance to anyone real or alive. I'm entirely a figment of this DM's
Total original intellectual property. Yeah.
Oh, I snuck up to the Kenku and stuck "I'm a turkey" on his back when he wasn't looking, which is why he's making that
Never
mistake.
seen one before. Never seen one before. I think we go get the gems, lads.
Good for me.
I agree.
All right,
Yeah,
got nothing
you
to do.
have you have the night ahead of you. You can take a long rest, whatever you need. You can set off under the cover of darkness. You let me know what you want to do. And
How
I'll
do you
the
know how
words
far
thing.
away would be to the location?
Yeah, this is a good time to make a survival check.
All of us, or just
Just Grud.
Ooh, survival. That's a 5, which is up from a natural 2.
You have a general sense.
Oh wait, have I been in that area before?
No, it's you'd have to, where you guys are, you're kind of camped by the base of these mountain ranges, and where the barge will run through. You know that there's a large river that runs through on Baja Glen towards the Infinity Falls, which is a large city built into a waterfall down at the very base of the glen. You would head sort of east a couple of days to hit the river, but you've no idea exactly where. You heard, actually, good as time as any, Dustin the Kenku said that they're most likely going to pass through the Hill of the Serpent. That's where the river passes through.
Sounds lovely and quaint.
Hill of the Serpent, because the river is like a snake. I mean, that's what you're assuming anyway from that survival check. East a couple of days. You do have, this camp does have sort of horses for you to take. Everyone has their own kind of personal horse, oxens to kind of drag your carts and wagons. That's as much as you kind of know. So it will take you some time to kind of find your bearings, plot a path. You're a little bit nervous, even with the 5. Baglen, you would like to think you're the nastiest motherfuckers in Baglen, but the one group you don't fuck with in Hibernia are the fairies. And you're almost certain there's like some fairy rats somewhat in that direction. It's hard to know. So you'd have to decide whether we go that way. If you stumble across it, how to avoid it or cut right through. It's hard to tell with those people. It's kind of 50-50. Sometimes amazing boons and riches, and other times you're cursed for life. You know, that's just the way. That's just the way the little people in Derby. No, that would be much better. Oh, no, they were literal fairies. But yeah, man, a gang called the fairies.
We're not territory.
Yeah, that's. Oh, I'm gonna steal that for another episode, my friend. But this one is a literal fairy rat. It's a hill and ring where real fairies exist.
Cool. Yeah, I guess we just gather our shit and go.
Yeah, we take horses, go faster, or whatever.
Yeah, we can.
Yep. I'm up for the risk.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do we want to run this by a lamb hog, or do we want to sneak off and get it done?
Let's just go.
Yeah, I say it's better if we just come back and it's done.
Yeah, that way he doesn't know if we fail. What we're trying to do.
That's a great point.
There's nothing ruder than this wizard seeming to think that he can own land where Lambhog clearly has power. So I think it's only polite for us to go and fuck him up. Yes.
Are we doing the wizard one?
Oh, is that not the wizard with the stone? No. What
Can't-
we did?
I think we're going to the barge with the gems.
Oh, I thought that was the same.
Barge
thing.
with gems.
Yes.
Barge with gems.
I thought gems was the stone. I like hastily changed my I engraved it on something, so I'm hastily trying to. Yes,
I didn't know you engraved.
Gems are gems. Yeah. Okay.
Right, yeah. You grab your horses from outside the camp. You set off on a few days' journey towards the large river that cuts through the east of this valley. First couple of days, pass by without incident, and you find yourselves taking a higher path to sort of overlook to see when and where the barge might pass your way. The river itself is still down in the valley, and now that you're on this overlook, you can actually see that ferry rath. It would be directly in your way if you were to beeline to the river. There is no barge as of yet. You get the feeling that setting off and kind of riding through the night, you've bet the barge to the river. Whereas if you're kind of taking your time, you might be playing catch up with it. That before you kind of set up camp for the early hours is about as much information as you get just at a cursory glance.
Yeah.
So we're ahead of the barge right now.
Yeah, so we could wait at night or take the longer route around the ferries.
Yeah, you know, with any barge in Hibernia, there's high chance of adolescents just grabbing a couple of cans and like just drinking beside it, near it, just all along.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's a barge.
Anywhere the barge is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when we could do that? Oh.
We're escaping from reality here.
sorry. Yeah, let's go have cans by the canal.
Yeah, I presume we would have brought cans with us. Like we're all filthy can boys. Like
then is it exam weather yet? That's
yeah, it's pretty well. It wouldn't normally be, but given that it's early autumn, they've actually postponed the exams in this Hibernian year to like late autumn. So the weather has turned. It's this grand stretch. You rode into a lovely sunset.
amazing. Excellent.
You all rode kind of. Actually, can I get a marching order? I'm going to keep this just as your general marching order throughout, if that's all right. Unless you tell me differently.
Yeah, I reckon I'd bring up the front, big meat shield.
Yeah, I'd say I'd be up there too.
Oh, of course, yeah, playing fighter now.
Grud and
Right.
Gordon's. You got the two G's up front.
2 Gs.
Yeah, I think I'd be further towards the back.
Yeah, I think I'd be at the back as well.
I don't reckon I don't know if I've been totally trusted by this party yet, and I don't think they'd let me at the very far back, so I'd probably be somewhere in the middle.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
seems fair.
Scrags in the middle.
I'd be at the very back so that I can just go down on all fours and then have someone in case they all go backwards and they all trip over me.
Always be pranking.
Lying there prone on the hope that someone walks backwards into you.
Roll an
takes a
animal
lot of
handling
work.
check.
Okay, sure.
Just how well you've trained your horse in on this prank.
11. So it could be worse.
Yeah, the horse doesn't really get the intricacies of just getting on all fours and just waiting for someone to push the other one over. But they're getting there. They think you think you know.
I can
what
go
they're
on
doing.
all fours on the horse.
Fair.
I've gotten
Fair,
that
fair.
far.
To trip another horse over.
Yeah.
And potentially break its legs and just end it in one terrible prank.
It's just a prank.
You've got to be working
Right?
on your
It's a
best-
prank.
your next
Yeah,
prank.
come on.
Yeah.
Always be working on your next prank.
Yeah.
That's what they always say.
18 horses have you killed this way, and your time as the dirty bitch boys.
18
We'd
horses
be really
couldn't
mad
take a
about it if
joke.
it wasn't a prank.
Yeah. So you're kind of on this pass, looking down towards this snaking river. You can see that it sort of ends in this sort of these mounds, these sort of the hill of the serpent. You think, and there's a natural where these hills kind of gather and where there's sort of trees growing up. It seems like the barge route will take it through almost like a natural tunnel before it gets out into again open river. Yeah, why not? It's like the sometimes some parts of the Amazon that kind of grow over and give this nice little. If it was a theme park, it would be a tunnel of love.
Okay.
And who knows? You don't know the ins and outs in this barge. That might be what they use this time for.
I think we should travel under this barge.
There was a hooker that told us, an ex-hooker that told us about this barge, right?
Yeah. It's a love barge.
Yeah. Love barge.
That's the treasure we're truly after. Someone to hold at
Yeah.
night.
Is it rocking? Should we come knocking?
What, does the camp get 20% of the love that we gain?
Yes, he does.
Okay. Great.
What's your general plan for for robbing this barge? Like before you even see it, like is there a sort of group plan for what you're doing?
Yeah, we should try and figure that out, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
I'm bad at everything except for dexterity, so I can help with the stealth. element. Oh, I have one of my 2 spells is silence, so I can make a small portion of us quieter for like 20 feet.
You are seeming less and less useful every time you open your mouth.
I have a first level charm person spell.
Ah,
I
that could be
will
helpful.
do that.
That
So,
could be
yeah,
helpful, all right. If there's any
Yep.
sort of security guard on the main deck, that could get us on.
I can make it. Oh, I can make a double of myself as well.
I'm only useful up close, so I'm gonna have to potentially swim to this thing. If you can cover my entry or protect me on the way there, I would appreciate it.
Same.
yeah.
I'm a kind of knock 'em sock 'em guy, so any sort of preamble where we sneak on is going to have to be sorted by someone else. I'm the muscle.
Okay, I can give
You
someone.
can hop on my
advantage.
shoulder if you'd like. Yes.
As soon as Willem announces that he's the muscle, I've dropped and I've started doing push-ups.
Yeah, I drop and do like push-ups, but on the knee. Like so, and really wide as well, like barely moving.
Lads,
real
that's not how
fast.
you're doing it the wrong way. You have to be directly behind someone, and then someone else has to push them. You're doing it all wrong.
Wait, so I'm doing regular push-ups. You're doing weird push-ups, and you're just on all fours, completely static.
Yeah, I'm trying to teach you
Yeah.
guys how it's actually done. You're the first time you've
Yeah.
ever been interested in my prank god.
Yeah, they're somehow camouflaging your prank without you meaning to. It's good.
Okay, well, look, I'm happy to do some of the sneaking, but and I can I can give someone advantage. in
I have
dexterity.
invisibility actually as well, and it has
Oh,
a C
well-
beside that.
That would be helpful.
That would be very
It's
useful.
a
That's why I let
concentration
you
spell.
know.
Hmm.
Concentration.
Ah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you're new to D&D and you see a little C, it means that you can only cast one spell you're concentrating on. So it's like takes all you're just like
Ah.
And if you get like hit or distracted, you have to roll like concentration checks and stuff. It's one of those rules that often is forgotten because it's more fun to forget it.
All right, so one of us can be invisible. You're pretty good at stealth, pointing to pale ale. I can be sneaky when I want to be.
I can give
Alright.
someone advantage on stealth. I can make one other person better at stealth. That's about it.
I probably need a bit of help with the stealth. Once I get in there, I can be, some physical help, but I'm not particularly stealthy.
Are you?
But I can.
So I say we get
Is
it.
Is Gordon's wearing plate armor?
Yes.
Okay.
Should I have said no to that? Because also, I wasn't sure what I was going to say until you asked.
She doesn't know what plate armor is.
I saw that. It's in the book. I saw it.
Yeah. That kind of means you clang about. You've disadvantage on stealth with that stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'm probably going to be holding back until there's an altercation of some kind, so that I can kind of leap in and help in a more physical way. I'm going to judge from afar.
Like if we assume that you will not be able to be sneaky, but we can get you in there, they won't be able to hit you because you're covered in metal.
There we go. Okay.
All right,
Cool.
so we try and sneak on, and then as soon as we're on, we can be as loud or as kind of clattery as we want.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Grud.
Sounds good.
If we're doing it in the next hour, then I'm gonna touch Grud.
It's middle of the night for you guys, or like early morning. You guys
Alright,
rode through the night to get here.
Cool. So, well, yeah, an hour. Are we an hour away from going for it? Are we going for it right now?
The barge is an hour inside, but I'll
Okay.
remember it's the an hour before you go. I'll just you've done it when it happens, if that makes sense.
Cool. I'll use my cleric ability to give him advantage on any dex stealth checks or whatever.
It is hard
It's
to
called-
hand to me because I'm going up and down.
It is
from-
called Blessing of the Trickster, and it's my. You get advantage on dexterity stealth checks. It lasts for an hour.
Yeah.
I
Tap
do
that
it
card.
I do it by sticking a kick me sign on his back. That's what I touch.
How does that help?
If
I would
you're
have thought
being
you'd
stealthy,
draw
then no one will
a
notice.
mustache on him
During a
while
sleep.
he sleeps, and then he'd be stealthy because no one could recognize. Like
Yeah.
he's disguised.
One of my character attributes is I have to react to all signs that I see, whether it says turkey, them carefully.
This is gonna go well. Gonna go well.
Before joining the Dirty Bitch Boys, Kennegar Scraggs was the victim to a particularly clever roadrunner, and it just drove his fucking mind. Going, tunnel this way, no tunnel. Like fucking proper Acme, no Acme. My God,
I'm a skeptic for life.
So if I understand correctly, your plan is just sneak on.
Yes.
Is there somewhere near
That's
the
always
water
plan A.
where there's a good bit of like bushes to hide in and something where we could be like,
make a perception check.
I can do that.
Make it with disadvantage because it's kind of dark at the moment, so it's hard to know.
Okay.
Are there any like reeds or anything? Like anything? Is there any way to hide in the river without being underwater, or is it just water? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can also make a perception check, and I'll avoid the terrible joke that went through my head, being like, "There's one really stretchy man. His name's Reed Richards."
I don't know if that's the really obvious joke.
Good thing we avoided that.
Yeah. Good thing I said that in my brain.
Yeah. I have a +4 to the perception, but I got an 8 twice. So
It's hard to tell in the sort of pre-dawn. If you can always check in the morning. And for Grud?
Yeah, I got 11.
Yeah, you think the water be deep enough that you could kind of hide in the water.
Okay. Like, I'm specifically thinking, can I hide without having to like hold my breath underwater? Like, could I just like, I don't know, I guess I got like a straw or something if I had one. But I don't think I do.
Yeah. There you might find some reeds down by the river. You might be able to do a classic Robin Hood, just straight through and just make your way out of there.
I'll have a look around and see if I can find a reed to breathe through.
We going down by the river to pray.
We are.
You want to get baptized into the Moana?
I'm hoping you're a hardcore like televangelist cleric that you can just.
I'm like a faith healer, which is how bad I am.
So roll an intelligence check.
Who?
Everyone or
Pale ale. Yeah.
Oh. 9.
I mean, it's not the worst idea to fake a baptism and then kind of be sort of invisible but in plain sight.
Okay. Well, Boan baptisms actually happen with a pie in the face. But we can try. We can try
to
a
get this
river
straight.
one.
The goddess of chaos, whose form is a river, she decides that to be baptized into this religion is kind of not anything to do with rivers. Okay,
yeah,
good.
I mean,
so
look, I'm the cleric here.
Baptized in a river.
Pies grow in rivers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a plan. Stealth on
right.
somehow.
Can I use my former history as a naval merchant, which I've just made up, to get a gauge of the barge, the layout of the barge, whether it's a 1-story, whether it's a 2-story, how big it is.
Asking Ben about that plan.
Oh yeah.
At least I know what barges look like.
Check what a barge.
Roll a history check. Roll it with advantage because, as you say, naval history.
Okay, what would advantage you give me?
You roll twice.
Roll
and then use the highest
two
one.
d20s.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
A 5. 17.
17. You know that in general the layout of barge would be quite a flat ship, usually with a perimeter walkway and one main chamber. You've no grasp of the specific layout of these barge convoys, but you get the feeling that like there will be a chain of them all with the same layout, a perimeter around the outside and then an inside to hold onto cargo, passengers, whoever you might find.
Like
almost
classic
like
Steven Seagal trying to break onto a boat kind of layout.
Yeah. Cooks and all.
I like to turn to the group. How wide is this river? Is it wide enough for 2 barges? Do we think? You
don't think actually. Where you don't think you do think.
Okay.
You don't think that. It is wide enough for 2. It's wide enough for like 1.5 barges. So you get the feeling that like it will be single file.
Here, lads. this river is only wide enough for one barge to get through. If we sink the force barge or damage it in some way or stop it, the rest of them will be sitting ducks. So is there anything we could do to halt the progress of the force barge?
Does anyone have a giant banana skin?
No bad ideas when brainstorming. I like it. Anyone else?
I mean, if I could hide in the water, I could try and get like bash a hole in it with an axe.
Maybe
That's
you
not
could
very
be baptized, never come back up from the water, swim, put a hole in the barge, and then come back up.
That could work.
I mean, that's
that could work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hiding in plain sight, then sink the boat, and we jump on board.
How?
And it's an excellent alibi if we're asked later on. You know, I was
We
being
could-
baptized.
Yeah, I could hold the ceremony in the water, and then they'll have to stop all the boats.
Can we test? Okay, so bear with me for just a second. Gordon's, you're
Yes.
wearing pretty heavy armor.
Mhm.
Can we test if you can walk along the riverbed?
Excellent. Yes. How can I jump in and see? How
You
deep
guys are
is
still
this
quite
barge? I mean, river.
still quite far away, as in on this, unless you want to go down to the riverbank itself.
Oh yeah, I
um,
assumed we were kind of camping hidden right beside the water.
The way I described it was that you were in an overlook looking down at the river. But look, let's go with
Well, that
your
would make
assumption.
sense.
We'll make our way down to the river.
Yeah, this whole time
I
we've
was
been making
asking
our
you
way
for the
down.
bushes.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
the
now
bush-
you're by the river now. Ta-da!
So can I jump in and see how deep this river is?
Yeah. How far do you want to go?
How do you mean? How far do I want to go?
Like,
Do
do you want to?
Like I'm holding on to the side. I'm gonna jump in to see how deep this river is.
Okay. Yeah. I see. The words I've
to
used have
see
not
if
painted a correct picture in your brain, which is it's a riverbank that just sort of goes
Yeah,
into. a river.
I think if you just wade in and see if the river won't wash you away, and see if you'll either float
because
off or keep going.
Because
down
you
the-
said canal, I'm full on picturing like the canal in Dublin. Okay.
I said barge, and you
yeah.
thought of canals. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an explorer's pack, which I assume contains rope. So I'd like to tie some rope around
That's a good
Gordon's
idea.
so that we
That's
can
a really good idea.
drag her out if this all goes tits up.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
So you wade into the water. The river flow, it's pretty fast. I'd like you to make an athletics check.
Athletics check.
Yes.
Of course. That would be 22.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can
Yes.
hold your own. The plate
Okay.
mill you're wearing definitely helps anchor you down in this river.
Mhm.
You get the feeling without submerging yourself, you could go underwater easy enough, and your armor, should you have fallen off a barge, you would have sunk straight away. So you're almost like Metal Mario, let's say, and you can just sit at the bottom of the river. The hard part would be getting back up, actually, like swimming up to the surface. wearing
yeah.
this plate armor.
Okay.
As I slowly look up the rules. for
Whoa.
drowning.
Is this
Yeah.
river sounds is it too busy for us to hold a baptism in?
Well, I mean,
No.
Well,
Kennegar,
I've just
Pale,
been,
got anything that could help her get up out underneath the boat, reach up? Some kind of way to make her float, or I don't know.
I can push her.
Or if anyone
Short
else
term.
has a way to sink this ship, because I don't, any other
I've got.
I
a
like the Metal
sword
Mario
and
plan.
axe. Yeah, Metal Mario plan.
You're saying that. I
um,
don't know what that meant. What did you mean by that?
It's like Mario, but he's made out of metal, so he sinks.
I don't know how to
Whereas
explain
Keelan,
it.
that is as far as I got with what it meant.
That's what it means. That's it straight up.
Okay. So if I get in the
Metal Mario.
water, I can choose to sink down, but then I can't.
No,
swim
no,
back up.
it's
No,
not
you-
your
no,
choice.
you
It's
just
Gravity's
sink.
choice.
You're in
Okay.
you're in heavy armor.
And when you
Okay.
want to come back up, just pull the rope 52 times for it up and 53 times to say I'm drowning.
Okay, I'm thinking this may not be the best plan.
I'll tell you what. I think as you guys, as dawn sort of cracks, and without getting a full night's rest, you will all sort of take a point of exhaustion going into this. But as dawn breaks and you plan in your sort of sleepy, tired state what the best way to sink this barge is, that's where we'll take a break, and we'll be back in about 15 or so minutes for the thrilling conclusion to Barge Heist. The
Conclusion
heist of
and
barges.
beginning.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think we're in a great place. It also gives you guys 15 minutes just to chat away, figure out whatever you want to figure out. We'll jump back in. In the meantime, before we take a break, if you don't already follow Tony Cantwell, he's at Tony Horror. So go over to all his social channels. You'll find him on pretty much everything. And then if you don't already follow us, if you're coming from Tony's side of the pitch, at Homebrew Quest is ourselves. You'll find us. I think we have our socials just written on the overlay: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. So if you're not even catching this live, I don't know why I'm saying that. Either you are catching it live, or you've already found the video. So don't mind that.
We'll be back. We're somewhere.
Yeah, we'll be back in 15 minutes as the gang try to heist a barge. We will see you then. Hey, and welcome to part 2 of Homebrew, where the gang are heisting a barge. That's what's going on. There's a barge convoy making its way down a river in the Baja Glen towards the Hill of the Serpent. Where we last left off, the gang were down by the riverbed planning their heist of this barge. The idea being that they would try rob the barge and bring back as much supplies to the Dirty Bitch Boys gang as a sign of goodwill to their leader, Lamb Hog. Hopefully in a way to raise the ranks. So I think we'll just jump straight in. It was late night, early morning. We kind of discussed during the break that the gang might take a little bit of a long rest, maybe wait until midday. They don't know when the barge is coming through, but they believe they make good speed. Knowing the general tracks of the land, it might be evening time before the barge actually passes through. So they've moved away from the riverbank a little bit and set up a little bit of a camp, shared some stories, told each other who their crushes are, and they wake fully rested, ready for a day of heisting, as all good bandits do.
Cool. So yeah, I think we're going to set up, presuming we haven't camped there already, the other side of the canopy of trees, like the tunnel on the barge.
Right, so where the river passes through the Hill of the Serpent, it's this clusters of hills that the river winds through. And because they're kind of built up, there's sort of this natural tunnel in which, and you guys are camping the other side of that tunnel. So when the barge sort of peeks its little head out, it's a weird way of saying that.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Then, hello, I'm a barge. When a little Rosie and Jim just poke their heads up and look around to see what the day has. Who would have thought a fucking heist? That duck doesn't know what's coming. That you guys are kind of ready and poised and waiting.
Cool.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Are there any trees near the river bank?
Yeah, make a perception check.
I can do that.
It's now it's now fully daylight, so you can make that without disadvantage. You're not under the.
Can I do it with advantage? Because
look, yeah, given the pure
Looking for
dismay I
trees.
saw across your face.
Okay, I got 21.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you do see some trees, and actually with a 21, you do spot sort of down the river a little bit, where the river passes through, a small Fina outpost. So there are little kind of guard outposts along the river, kind of to stop exactly what you guys are doing. Precious goods sail down these rivers, and they want to make sure that they don't get robbed.
Is there a tree that's as close to us as possible and not as close to that outpost?
So you're more concerned about the tree than the law, just so I know.
I'm trying to keep us as far away from that outpost as possible. So
yeah.
Is there a tree?
Yeah, there's a tree right beside you.
And it's tall enough that if I was to cut it, it would go across the river if it fell correctly.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's not like super tall.
Well, okay. First, I will tell these guys about the fucking narcs over there, the Fianna. and see if they.
Um,
I'm just
I-
gonna.
I-
Otherwise, I was going to hack the shit out of that tree there to ruin that boat's path. What do you reckon?
I want to start writing on a small piece of parchment with a quill. I'm going to send it via carrier pigeon, presumably a blue one. I'm going to send it a message that there's a Fianna checkpoint out on the river, and everyone should watch for speeding. I'm going to tweet it
Doing
out.
the Lord's work there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone
Cool.
knows.
Yeah. Fucking gotcha, you rats.
Okay. Anyway, I'll just go. I'm gonna go and try and hack that tree. Can anyone help to maybe push it in the right direction?
Oh,
as it starts
I'm
falling?
immediately pushing it. Like, I'm
Be careful, man. Trees can be dangerous. Watch yourself
Yeah,
around trees.
I'd like to keep Willem away if possible.
So roll an athletics check. Do you have an axe? What weapons do
I
you
have a battle axe.
Okay, yeah,
Battle
that works.
axe is what I was gonna
Yeah,
use.
roll an athletics check or roll an attack. Roll an attack against this tree. I'm gonna come up with an AC in my head for a tree.
Okay.
Got it?
Wait.
It's alarmingly high.
I
One of those California
go.
fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Reaches
too.
down.
He walks away as you try to. Please, I'm trying to make my way to Isengard.
I got 19.
Yeah, you hacked the shit out of
dead.
that tree.
Whoa.
You
Take
chop-
that in the
chop-
name
chop-
of the DB faction of the DB FDB. Well, I've forgotten where we were. But
and you hack it in the direction of the river, and it smashes down. It's a little bit short of the riverbed itself, but you feel like with a bit of push, you could kind of push it into the river, causing an obstruction.
It's not floating away or anything. Is it staying where?
No, there's kind of enough like general sort of slow down.
and
Plants.
it's
Slow down
now
plants, that's what you call them.
crossing. It's now crossing over both sides, though, right?
Not yet. You'd need to
Oh.
like shove it into.
I
the
will
river.
help you give it
Okay,
a no.
because I was thinking we could do that so that then we can get over to both sides. But
Oh yeah. Okay.
so can we
y-
try and do that? Or
Yeah,
can I try and do that?
I'd help.
Yeah, roll another athletics check with advantage, given that everyone's just heaving it. And as you heave it, that old
15.
Hibernian phrase goes through your head. If a tree falls in the woods and there's no one, especially not a Fianna outpost around to hear it, doesn't make a sound.
Yeah, perfect. I'm sure they're probably sleeping.
In the middle of the day. Yeah.
How far away is the outpost from here?
Yeah, lazy
Oh,
songs.
good question. It's like 500 feet.
That's
Maybe-
pretty far.
Cool.
They won't see
Okay,
this coming
sure.
at all.
You shove it into the river, and it goes across both riverbeds. It needs another push just to kind of sink it in the other side. And yeah, there is now a blockade. So
I'm gonna clap
the water
Kinnegar on the
itself
back.
begins to sort of like overflow, and underneath it's making it a bit slippery to cross, but pretty much there's a block.
So
across
does it
this
need
river.
more of a shove?
No, I mean, more of a shove won't do anything more than what you're aiming to do.
Cool.
Then
So can we-
I'd like to clamber over to the other side to kind of
Well, make
create a.
Go ahead. What do you make an acrobatics check with disadvantage? It's a slippery log, as all logs are.
Fuck's sake. Damn. Oh, that's a 3.
Yeah, you
That's a
you
big old
slowly
tree.
make your way across this.
We've lost you.
You clamber up through the kind of gnarly roots.
Immediately gone.
Yeah. So tiny we
at the very
can't see you
least-
in the splashing waves. Yeah. Aw.
Before you even cross proper, you know it's too dangerous. But you do take you take
no.
2 just sort of bludgeoning damage as you slip and kind of bash your elbow right at that point that really hurts.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
The
we all
funny
know.
bit.
nothing funny. Nothing funny about it.
It's the only bit of biology we clerics learn.
So Willem hasn't washed away, no?
Unfortunately, not.
I think I'm I'm chastened, but on this side of the river, the side we remain on.
I wanna clamber about halfway and kind of like hang the other side of the log, so I'm hidden from the other side, but I'm in the middle of the river, basically.
Okay, cool.
Would I be able to go under the log and actually swim underneath, or is it flush with the bottom of the riverbed? If you know what I mean.
No. It's stuck into either riverbank.
Okay,
And that's
so
what's holding.
My plan is to, when they arrive, to go under and stay underwater and get over to them.
Yeah. Make a acrobatics check with disadvantage.
Acrobatics. That does make sense.
Damn you, Gary Gygax.
Yeah. What a prick. 10. Wait, what was the advantage thing that you gave me, Pele? Advantage on stealth.
Oh.
Never mind. Yeah. Just 10.
You scramble ungracefully across this log. You're hanging on. And you're kind of grabbing onto as many kind of branches and stuff that you can. It's tough. You get the feeling that you're there for now, but to kind of hoof yourself up or under, that will be a
Can
an
I
athletic check with disadvantage?
Not to steal too much for a turn, effectively. I have homemade resistance bands in my bag. Can I wrap them around the tree for leverage?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the world is my gym,
Nice.
man.
Done. You've negated any sort of penalty I tried to put on you there with your homemade resistance bands.
They're literally the only equipment I have.
Do they have obnoxious branding on them, like Grud branding?
No, they're made from the skin of adventurers I've killed.
Oh,
dark.
And the branding that you
is
put on them while torturing them, I see.
Yeah. Well, the branding is like, if any of them had any tattoos or birthmarks, that's the brand.
Yes, yeah. The original obnoxious branding is just branding. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have Grud in the water, resistance banding on this log. The rest of you are all on the western bank of this river, waiting for the barge to come down. It is coming to late afternoon, early evening, and you do see in the distance. Sorry, you wouldn't. No, you're the other side of the hill. But either way, I've said it now. You get the feeling the barge is on the way. That's my fault, guys. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have let it slip. But look, we all make mistakes.
Maybe it toots a horn or something as it comes around the corner.
Actually, you know what? What I forgot before this happens is a band of 3 Fianna do ride up to you because of the crashing tree. And so you see these three half elves on top of horses.
Was that not stealthy? Weird. Okay.
So weird, right? It's a classic cartoon, like, and one of you don't even know who, even shouted timber. It's just
well, we can't blame them for that. So
yeah, exactly.
Wow. If only I mean, this is exactly what that silence spell I was talking about would have been perfect for. Oh well.
Had a silence spell.
In the movie adaptation, that's what you cast, but in this live stream, unfortunately, we deal with real consequences.
Oh yeah.
And so 3 elven men with sort of half capes in emerald green, the classic uniform with the Fianna, which we've seen actually Hook wear in the regular show. White shirts, pair of suspenders, leather belts coming down the side, riding boots. They ride up to you. Is there anyone who would be the face of your party if there was a face?
He's currently in the water, I think. So in Grud's absence, I'm gonna here, Scrags, get us out of this. Like talk to, like, do some, I don't know.
I might use my level 1 charm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, to be fair, Kinnegar, he literally told us he has a charm person spell prepared.
Yeah.
And the leader of this group rides up to you. They have long elven hair, a couple of braids, bit of a top knot, every sort of hairstyle you can imagine with long hair. They have it. Half elven ears pointing through, and they go, how are you? We heard a bit of a disturbance. If you wouldn't mind rolling down your... Nope, never mind. That's a different world. What's going on here? Knock, knock, knock. Going to be on the passenger side because of social distancing.
And hey, mate, are you tired? Because you've been running through my mind all night. You're lovely with your hair.
You're a bit of a charmer. Did this? I hope you people weren't caught under the. Sometimes trees fall in the wood, and if there's not the
Who's
fiend
to hear
around
it?
to hear,
Huh?
yeah, read my mind. And
I think
your
we got a
accent,
connection, you and me. I think we got a connection.
gotta tell you, your accent infectious. It's an infectious. I started out not talking like this, but I'm feeling like I'm mirroring your body language.
Mate, I don't even know where I'm from. I lost it, if you remember, just a second ago. So
Right. Anyway, as I was saying, nope,
Sure,
lost
please.
it again. Never mind. Anyway, this is how this guy talks on the Irish D&D show. You just default to a British accent. That's what we do. It's our post-colonial
way
nature. Yeah. As long as no one was hurt, and you see the Fianna look behind to kind of take in your party members. You haven't been part of the Dirty Bitch Boys long enough, but you know they have a reputation with the law. You know the way they wear the uniforms. Some would say it's a little bit boastful. It makes them too easy to spot by the law. But they do what they do. Who you got there?
I'm doing pull-ups on my bands immediately, making it look like I'm there on purpose.
I'm preparing for a baptism.
doing some double resistance training. He has got the
Just getting
water
the holy
and the
water.
bands.
Oh, he's like that.
Yeah.
He's like that MMA fighter, swims against the river just to get ready for a fight. Is he?
Yeah. Good guy.
Can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's a high-burning hero, or maybe he isn't. I don't know his personal life. Maybe I shouldn't endorse him on a show.
Mate, we're all out here just getting jacked, right? We're just out here getting jacked.
Right. You're gonna leave that there, and he points to the tree that's sort of blocked because we got a bit of trade. So when you're done, if you don't mind, just wiping down your bench and moving it on.
You're a good guy, right? I don't care what they say about you, huh?
And roll a persuasion check to kind of retroactively see how well this is.
It's going to color the whole conversation.
Suddenly he's very sarcastic. 19, yeah, perfect. That's exactly the way we were playing it. Right. Well, if you guys mind yourselves, because it's a couple of nasty bandits in this park called the Dirty Bitch Boys. Between you and me,
forbid.
They aren't worth shit. They aren't worth shit. He says out loud. Dirty Bitch Boys. We take them down any day of the year.
Don't you say that about the Dirty Bitch Boys!
Oh, what are you saying? What are you saying? I'm
Don't
sorry.
you say that about Dirty Bitch Boys!
His horse rears up in shock.
I would die for this.
He manages to hold on to the reins. His two companions take a sword. And at that point, I guess we all roll initiative.
Okay.
Unless sorry, so I'll give you like a reaction to as they go for their swords.
Oh,
We're not really sure if it's a joke or not. They're like,
okay.
All right, let's roll initiative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
I think I'm too far away to do anything anyway. That's so. This is
You're
the
in the
perfect.
river.
Yeah, I can't take advantage of a surprise, right? Oh,
get me
what a
6.
6, nice.
Also a
That's
6.
good. 6, also good. Anyone above a
17.
20? 17.
14.
Arlington?
14.
14. Oh, nice. Okay, hold on. 17, 14, 14. Something you don't know, 6, 6. Which top of the round as these Fiannan warriors take out their swords. Arlington, you're in the river.
I got a 14, as did Willem.
Oh, sorry, 17.
I got
Who was
17.
17?
That was me, sorry.
So Pale Ale, you're up first. You got 3 Fiannan warriors on horseback.
Okay. I've never done a triple pie in the face, but now might be the time.
Okay.
And canonically speaking, as I write down these stats, these are not the stats of the average Fiannan warrior. They're just the stats for this adventure.
Great.
Okay, good to know.
Thank you.
As Arlington recalls this story in his memory, he's like, well, they were either hard or easy or medium. Who knows? No reflection on Huck, the actual character in our campaign.
It's fine out because they murdered me, and everything since then never happened. Yeah.
Okay. I guess the first thing that I'll do is create an illusory double of myself, because that takes an action. So it lasts about a minute long. It's called Invoke Duplicity, and it's channeling my god. It makes a perfect duplicate of myself that I can see within 30
anywhere within 30 feet.
30 feet. Yeah. And as bonus action, I can move it up to 30 feet.
Right.
So now
where would you like to? Where is that person? So for battle terrain, you're on a riverbank. It's pretty straight, a little bit windy. There in front of you, you guys are all sort of by this tree that's crashed down, and then that's sort of the layout. Basic rectangular grid on a D&D map. If that makes sense.
Sorry, is Willem on the side with the Fianna or the far side of the river?
Willem is on your side with the Fianna. He didn't manage to cross
Didn't
the
make
river.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, if it's just making my duplicity, it's just 30 feet between me and them, like forward.
Right. So they're within 30 feet. So there's suddenly a duplicate of you, Pale Ale, just appears right in front of them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything else on your action?
It says I can move it as a bonus action, but I don't think I need to. I don't know. I'll take my net out, so that my illusion has the net, and that'll trick them in the future.
Perfect.
That's all I can do for now.
Brings us on to 14. Two of you were 14. Up to you. A lot of streams when they do D&D say the person with the highest dexterity should go first. Actually, rules is written say you get to choose every round. So
I think I'm going to vote that Willem gets it because I'm pretty sure Rian, you must be missing your high initiative bonus, so I think you can do it.
Oh god, it's been painful having initiative this low.
Yeah, I think after you.
Yeah, how do you people live like this?
You take it really personally, don't you?
It's a plus 12 or something on a regular show. Like.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't even know that it was on the thing.
Also, I'm in the river. It makes no sense that I'd get to go first.
That's fair enough reasoning.
And user, like you're probably not going to do any damage this round. Am I right, Grud?
Find out. We'll find out. I don't know if I'm going to pick that up. It was very high pitch.
Is anyone next to any of the Fianna? Any of our party?
Yes, there is a duplicate of Pale Ale right in front. Scraggy's right in front of the lead. So they're in a flying V, almost.
Okay, yeah. So I'd like to go next to Kinnegar and attack the lead guy. So normally I have distant with my great sword. And I'd like to say, like, and you're gonna do fucking nothing about it. That misses. So taking my giant greatsword, I'm like unsteady with it. And I'm like, and you're gonna do nothing about it, and then it just drops to the floor.
Okay. What did you get?
I got a 4.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, 7, but like a 4 roll. Yeah.
You carve a delicious line in the sand, someone might metaphorically say, in front of yourself, but ultimately doing no damage to these Fenian warriors. So you've used your movement bonus action. Anything for your bonus action?
I don't think at the moment I have a bonus action. Oh, do you know what I can do? I'm not sure if it's action or bonus action. It's a kobold ability. I can cower pathetically to give allies advantage on the next attack against the creature. So when my attack doesn't hit, I'd like to go, oh, no, I was messing. Stop, no, don't hit me. And he's distracted by me.
Brilliant. I love it. They don't need to roll anything. They're so distracted by your pitiful form. Is that the
Yeah. think so. I actually don't have the. I just wrote down kind of shorthand. I cower pathetically to give allies advantage on next attack.
That's enough for me. So it is there. It is the Fenian's turn.
Do I get my turn at 14?
Sorry. Yeah, right. Yeah. So Grud, what you see is in the short period of time, this sort of split form of pale ale as one of them suddenly seems almost too quick. Couldn't possibly have moved that fast. It's like whoosh, Dragon Ball Z style, like right in front of the Fina. You see your good friend Willem just drag his sword across the ground and then like cower behind the dust that was kicked up. Your new friend, Kenninger Scraggs, seems to be holding his own, seems to be standing up to these Fenian warriors. It's a little bit impressive. And as they all take out their swords and get ready to charge, and the horses rear up in this sort of tableau of action about to happen, it's your turn.
Okay, cool. Very, very, very cool. I'm going to first off use my bonus action to fly into a frenzied rage.
Oh, nice.
So I think any kind of polite Jimbro activity is gone, and my eyes have gone like kind of red. And rather than trying to like balance my way across the log to get to the action, I'm just going to like pull myself along it, like by sheer force through the river. I'm not even trying to pull myself out of the water.
Roll a strength check with advantage.
Yeah, that's what rage is good for. It's 20, but let's roll for fun. Yeah, natural 20, critical. So that would
natural
be
20.
Yeah, so it'd be 25 altogether. If that matters.
You are like tearing chunks out of the slog as you just like drag or something. Like you almost hear like a cracking, thunderous boom. It's as if you ripped a hole in this tree. Resistance bands. Resist this as you make your way to the land.
But a
natural 20.
Wow.
Natural 20. I'm going to say you haven't used any of your like movement proper.
Ooh, shit. Sorry.
Yeah, you've just reefed your way along this.
Okay. Then when I get to the shore, I'm gonna run to the one on their horse because that looks like a more intimidating target.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to attack with my great axe. But I'm going to attack recklessly and with my great weapon master feat, which means I get advantage. They will also have advantage on me, but I also take a -5 to my attack roll. But if it hits, I do +10 damage.
I'll remind you before you do reckless that because of the cowering kobold, you get advantage anyway. So you don't need to attack recklessly.
Okay, Grant.
I
misheard that. I thought it gave them disadvantage, so I like cancelled it out. Then I will not reckless attack. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
But I will take
no need
to attack.
Yeah.
So 12. And 12 again. So to hit, that is going to be not good. That's going to be an 11.
11 unfortunately misses. Something about the rearing horse. You just missed time in your frenzied rage. The exact upswing of your battle axe. What do you got? Great axe. You missed time it, and it like a formative moment in this horse's life where it might get like a life-changing scar. You just give it a cut through the flesh and neck, doing no damage. But now it looks like a badass horse. So at least you've given it a backstory.
Nice. It's good to give something back to the horse community. But yes, then that is my turn.
Cool. On to their turn. The most pressing threat is this huge lumbering bugbear in front of them. So each of them are going to take an attack against Arlington. Remind me, Gavin, cowering doesn't give them disadvantage. It's just advantage for your
No, just advantage for allies.
Okay. Does a 17, 12, or 15 hit? To you, Grud.
Everything but the 12 does.
All right. You take from these two Fenian warriors who these are the two side warriors. They unsheath their blades and it sings through the air and they try to stab downwards. It's almost biblical. You take a total of 8 and 6, 14. You're raging, so half, 7 damage.
Yeah,
7 slashing damage. There's these two horses come either side, like magical chests from Harry Potter. They're coming down at you. Kabam.
Cool.
Scrag, your new friend Grud, you just see these two swords skewer him either side.
No.
the main guy, still rearing back, doesn't manage to get control of his horse in time. It is your turn. The battlefield is asunder. No, look, don't try to think of fancy words. The battlefield is alive with the song and clang of weapons and the rushing river nearby.
I would like to unload a firebolt upon his face.
Ooh.
Absolutely. Roll for an attack.
Now it's 1d10 fire. Do I roll? But I roll to see. I roll first.
I think you roll a d20.
D20 plus your spell modifier, whatever that is.
18 plus spell modifier of +5.
Yeah, with a total of 23, you fire off this firebolt. Are you aiming for the lead or kind of left or right?
I'm aiming for his kind of face and his hands on the reins.
Ooh, nice. So as you shoot this fireball towards the leader, directly towards the reins, do your damage.
My damage is 4.
4 is enough for the horse, because it was rearing up. You managed to knock this guy off his horse, and in the chaos of battle, the horse just like runs into the distance. You have a Fenian guy knocked prone on the ground, and he's like, "Oh, I thought we were friends. We were making a connection. I changed my voice for you."
You should never said about the dirty bitch boys. Is that to you?
Yeah. Do you have your movement and bonus action? I believe.
Movement bonus action. Can I stand in some sort of advantage over him so to keep him on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. You step over them in your lithe and rippling were-tiger form. Claw either side. You've mounted this man. If not physically, then just emotionally.
I got the claw.
But physically too.
Yeah, and physically too. He is pinned down. Make a quick athletics check.
Nice. It was 16, but I don't know.
Yeah, you've got this man pinned to the ground, snarling in his face.
How dare you,
Gordon's. As you see the lead Fenian warrior knocked off his horse and mounted by your were-tiger friend, and these two other Fenians stab into Grud, your rippling bugbear companion. It is your turn. And what you do, you've got movement, bonus action, and action.
Yeah, I'm good. Where am I? Who's closest to me?
You're a little bit further away. You're back where the tree fell down. So you kind of have this flying V of Scraggy and Grud in front of the lead area.
Okay, can I go to one of the two that's attacking Arlington? Can I get to them?
Yes, absolutely.
Attack?
Yeah, you can
so I'm gonna go up to one of them and sigh with a holier than thou attitude and swipe my battle axe towards them, towards that guy for an attack.
Make an attack roll.
11?
11 unfortunately misses. So just the frenzy of battle.
So I probably was a bit too much in my head, and I swung, and then the weight of it just brought me all the way around, and I just kind of stumbled. Okay, next go around, maybe I'll hit them. And I tried to.
It's a new sword. It's a new sword. And do you get 2 attacks as a fighter at level 4, or just the 1?
I don't believe so. I was looking to see if I did. I don't believe I do.
No worries.
So,
which brings us to the top of the round. Pale Ale, what you've seen from your companions is one of them drag their sword across the ground and then cower. Another one just swipe needlessly into the air. Arlington's battle axe just slice a horse for no reason. And the only person who seemed to do any sort of impact to the battlefield is this firebolt that went off from Kinniger Scraggs onto the reins of the horse, knocking the Fenian warrior off their mount. Horse scuttling away with a whinny, and him cowering underneath, being like, "I don't know whether to hate you or kiss you." And it's your turn.
Right. I am going to take out Beata's holy symbol, or have my duplicate do so. And then I'm going to try to cast the cantrip Word of Radiance, which I think
Radiance.
Word of Radiance, yeah, it's in Xanathar's, I think.
Very cool.
So I utter a divine word, which I'm guessing would be something along the lines of waka waka. Just to make sure that
Why
that's
not?
canon. And then anyone within 5 feet who I pick must succeed on a Constitution saving throw,
All right.
or take 1d6 radiant damage. So
So you
I'll
get
check
an-
what the Constitution saving throw is. That'll be in my stats, right?
It should be.
Where are my stats? Oh, yeah. I forgot I'm crap at spells. They have to beat an 8.
Beat an 8.
Yeah, they have to beat an 8. Can they beat an 8?
2 of them succeed, but one of them does fail. Something about the echoing words of waka waka just awakens childhood. Mama, father, no.
Yeah. I won't
do they
do
take
my
damage?
father masturbating.
Yeah, it's 1d6 radiant damage. So let's have a look.
Yeah, roll your
6,
damage.
6
Nice.
radiant damage. Yeah.
This rocks their world. Like it's so like you don't know how you manage to pluck these words from their brain, but it really does shatter them. Some would say, if you were to put a mechanical term on it, half their health is gone.
Oh wow. Wow. That's the power of Moana, really.
It really is.
Keeps thinking you're saying Moana, the Disney classic.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
She was a trickster god, right?
Yeah.
Not even.
So
that's my go insofar as it is, yeah.
as one of these fiending warriors just kind of rocks their head, step style tragedy, Grud. It is your turn. What you have in front of you is a very distracted fiending warrior to your right, almost full health to your left, and then your good friend Scraggy on top of the leader.
Wait, sorry, it's my turn, is it?
Sorry, yes, yeah. Grud,
Yeah.
it's your turn. Other things that are painting the scene, coming from the tunnel of love, the Barge of Love is beginning to poke its cute little morning head out.
Perfect. We're just totally ready for it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, it's got a log to deal with at least.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
gotta
just gonna,
break.
can I shout, this is a baptism.
So just for clarity, because I can do space on that. Are there 2 or 3 Fina warriors here?
There's 3. You would know this in general, and also because I mention it every fucking episode, Wes, that they travel in bands of 3.
So that was actually going to be my question. I was actually anticipating that there was a 3rd one hidden in the trees. I genuinely was
Oh no,
waiting.
yeah. Nice. Good DM inspiration for the lie you just told me.
Thinking on my feet. Okay, so Kinnegar still has one effectively pinned underneath him.
Pounced and pinned.
I'm going to try and chop that one's head off.
Ooh, all right. You would get advantage because theoretically you're flanking with both an ally and the ground.
Yes, and if he's on the ground, melee attacks have advantage.
That's
Yeah,
also why you
my
get
illusion might
advantage.
give people flanking, by the way.
Yes.
So I have
Oh,
4
yes.
times advantage on this poor fool.
Yeah. The leader of the Fina. The leader.
Oh,
Probably
really?
won't go with that inflection. That's going to be not great. 13 to hit. Oh, sorry, advantage. I'm an idiot. We were just talking about it so much. 18 to hit.
18 hits. Yeah. You get a clean strike off on this man's head.
I'm going to
And that's including the
hit
addition.
him
You
real
see.
good. So that's going to be 8 plus 2. That's 12 with my raging bonus.
All
12
right.
slashing with my great axe.
Willem, as you take in the scene and as you cower,
Do I?
a head rolls up to you,
Oh.
lifeless, and kind of these blank eyes just like stare you in the face. And if you could speak with dead, it might speak. But at the moment, as you glance up from the scene, and in this case, you're not going to turn Super Saiyan 2 because the head of your android friend is being chopped off. In this case, you see Grud frothing at the mouth, bloody, axe sunk into the ground, a Fenian leader decapitated. Grud, I'd like you to roll an intimidation check.
Ooh. Not good at those. Intimidation is -1, 16.
Okay. You've shook the two support Fenian warriors with this gruesome move.
Okay.
It's your turn. I just want to describe it from the perspective of a cowering kobold.
Yeah.
So you still have your bonus action and movement.
Very good. Okay, so what's the situation with the other two? Are they locked in combat, or what's their?
They are wide-eyed, bloodshot, looking at you. You get the feeling that this face of a bugbear is burnt forever in their brains, and that will have no consequences in the main campaign.
Fantastic.
They will never forget the face that killed their best man at the wedding, their brother, godfather to their child.
Maybe we should
wedding.
definitely kill all of these ones.
They have not sworn from this day forth to hunt you down and kill you.
Making enemies in real time. Okay, so left and right, which of them is in the best shape?
Left.
Left. I'm gonna throw a hand
A real
axe.
thirsty question, Wes.
One on the left with my bonus action because I'm frenzied raging. I get to attack. And I'll throw my hand axe at the one in better shape on the left one because I'm.
I have a feeling because they're all quite close together, you're still within melee range.
Okay, if I can move and use my bonus action, then yes, I'll do that instead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, perfect. Then yeah, I'll just straight up attack him. As this one, I will also make a great weapon master attack, so -5 to the attack. I don't get advantage on this, I don't think.
I don't think there's anyone flying. Well, actually, your kobold friend is still cowering.
Oh,
so
is
theoretically
that...
anyone who can see them? Is that correct with the cowering form?
Yeah. That's
yeah, I think so.
exactly.
I think
until the end of your next turn, your allies get advantage on attack rolls. So I think it's only.
Yeah, you're still advantage because they're still distracted, despite their
Okay.
team slaughtered in front of their eyes. This
They
cowering
just can't
kobold.
focus on this little. Oh no!
They're beginning to think they
don't
need
look
to
over
rescue
there.
you.
Not that much. That gave me a 10.
10 unfortunately does miss. I don't know the IC of a horse, but fuck it. So Willem, it is your turn. Slowly, this one barge is coming out of the neck of this tunnel.
So I, like, having seen everything that's going on around, and being like, I'm fucking sick of this. I would like to rage. So I'm like, you fool! And I would like to recklessly attack the guy who's in front of me, who I'm flanking with Arlington. So,
yes.
Oh dear, 15.
15 just hits.
Okay, nice. And then that'll be 5 and 3, 8.
8 points. Nice.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Do you have a bonus action rage movement? Do you have movement this round?
Does rage take a bonus action?
I believe so. Yes.
Activate it, yes, but once it's going, it's fine.
Okay, yeah. Then movement, I'm kind of fine. I'll stay where I am, just like swinging the sword wildly.
Scrag, you see this giant 3-foot blade, just like you actually don't see it. You just feel it behind you, the gust of wind near your tail. With your cat-like awareness of any time any hand comes near your tummy. This also extends to any hand coming near your tail. As this huge slice cuts through a horse, this remaining damage slices through this Fenian warrior. Not enough to damage it, but enough to maim it. You know, enough for him to get like a cool nickname back with the gang, like Billy Nobles.
These are some cool horses coming out of this.
yeah. It is the Fenian turn. They did not roll well on their constitution checks based on Arlington's vicious attack, and they try to buck it out of here. One of them on the ground scrambling as their horses split in twain. The other one galloping, trying to like hoof him up and drag him onto horseback to get back to the base. But maybe there's more Fenian warriors. These might have just been the scouts that were sent out to investigate what seemed like a rudimentary logfall in the woods. And And Scrag, it is your turn as you get an opportunity attack, and also your entire turn as these Fiending Warriors ride away and cower.
Well, I still have.
Unfortunately,
I'm still atop of one of them. Am I not?
you are, but that one no longer has a head.
Oh, of course. Oh, of course. So is there anyone else left to attack?
Well, they're both trying to escape, and you get a free action to attack of opportunity them, and then your turn, should you wish.
Sure. Well, the one closest to me, I would like to use my unarmed strike, and I would like to pounce upon them.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And because this, for some reason, is bludgeoning, bash his head in.
Ooh.
Amazing. Do they make a save or do you make a roll?
Stab. Say again.
Do you make a roll or do they make a save?
I'll make a roll.
Yeah, you make a roll.
12.
Add your dexterity or strength. It's a pure strength. Add your strength modifier.
My strength plus 3.
Ooh.
15 is enough to leap off this ground and tackle into this Fiending Warrior trying to run for his life.
Don't
Please,
leave.
I've got a wife and kids. One of them's called Billy. Do your damage. I think it's like a D6.
Okay, so now I'm really angry that he told me that. Why did you tell me your kid's name? Why did you tell me that? And I'm angry and furious.
Yeah. It's a pure fucking gaslighting from these Fiending. They're just trying to emotionally manipulate you. Trying to convince you that there's things.
Damage type is 4 bludgeoning plus 5 hit. So that's just 9, no matter what.
Oh fuck, yeah. Yeah. You pounced the life out of this man.
Why did you tell me his name? Why? Look what you made me do.
Paint makes it so cute.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I pounce hard.
You pounce the lead rider off this horse, leaving the one scrambling, desperate, dirty Fiending Warrior. Some would think they are the best protectors of the land in this adventure. Fuckheads. Scrambling to his feet, trying to make his way away. This Fiending Warrior scrambles about 15, 20, 30 feet away from you.
Yeah.
In the direction.
Can I chase? I'm gonna chase after him to try and axe him as he from behind as he runs.
Yeah. What do you think? Dirty Bitch Boys was just a cute nickname they gave these guys? Not in the Dirty Bitch Boys.
Yeah. Sorry. What did do?
I enjoy the use of the word axe as a verb, by the way. Very good.
As I'm running and I'm going in the name of the GB faction of the DBB, and I get a 12. So once again, I think I go whoa and just run another little circle as I'm circling the terrain.
Yeah, unfortunately,
essentially.
Unfortunately, you miss. Some would think just a sheer gusto and righteous ability is not enough to land an attack on this Fiending Warrior.
Nope.
However, it is Pale Ale. It is your turn as you see your good friend Gordon's chase after them. Take another ineffectual swipe. I'm really sorry, Lucy. It's just the rules in front of me here say you're not good at this.
All right.
They're about 30 feet away.
Great. Away from me or away from my duplicate?
Away from your... Yeah, of course. You've just been 60 feet back. Away from your duplicate. Yeah.
It's the ultimate prank. Yeah, okay. So I can do a spell called Toll the Dead, which I'm guessing means that they hear the sound of like their death bell or whatever ringing out. So they need to make a wisdom saving throw and beat an 8. Clerics really need to be good at spells. That's what I've heard.
This particular Fiending Warrior got a classic 6.
Oh yeah! All right,
so
then
they
it's
fail.
Better when you succeed with your spells.
Yeah.
1d8 of necrotic damage.
I know this spell.
Dark.
If they've already taken damage, is the damage they take from Tell the Dead greater? Is it a 1d12?
Oh, if the target is missing any of its hit points, it instead takes 1d12. Yes, exactly.
Good save.
Good, yeah.
That's literally the next line. Okay, so d12 you're saying.
Yeah.
5.
Describe, like, in classic D&D terms, in proper sword and sorcery adventure, it's like a Sabriel Gareth Nix like
Oh,
bell that goes.
it's definitely a. But like a really scary clown.
That's
Death bell. You know,
arguably more
what clowns.
terrifying. Like,
That's what clowns do, right? That's what that bell means. Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The death bell.
For whom
Yeah.
the ha-has, it ha-has for thee.
Yeah.
That's the real meaning of toll, I think.
Yeah.
So that's what he uses a really
I think it's fair to play. It's fair to say that the majority of us here have been an Untitled Goose, and we know how scary that noise can be. Unfortunately, not enough to killing damage, as this man who's
Lasting
just
psychological.
racking his brains, psychologically insane. Some might say who will be in padded walls in the Fenian headquarters saying "ha ha ha ha" for the rest of his life, but does manage to scarper away. He gets 60 feet. Anyone can hit him from 60 feet.
I mean, technically, I can
bless
still
you.
cast my thing.
He shouts.
I can throw a hand axe, I think, 60 feet.
So we go Pale Ale Grud. Grud, can you hit him from 60 feet?
yeah, the max range for a hand axe is indeed 60 feet. So both myself and Willem could theoretically hit him.
Bless you.
Willem, do you also have a hand axe?
Oh wait, sorry, no.
Yeah.
Sorry, 60 feet means we've disadvantage on the attacks. Within 20 feet, it's regular, and then from 20 to 60 feet, it's disadvantage.
Willing
You're more
to
than welcome to
give
both
it a
roll
go.
with disadvantage. Like a firing range, no one knows which axe is a blank. Who takes the final throw?
do we
So
do it
are
at the
we both-
same
are we
time?
both throwing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
back
number
to
you're aiming
back.
for
Just
is a
bad
14.
boys for life.
Yeah, you're aiming
Oh.
for 14.
That's an 8.
That's 16 for me.
Oh.
You turok the shit out of this Fenian warrior.
Nice.
Do your damage.
Do your damage. I'm still raging though, so that's 6 damage, 6 slashing.
If this was a gorgeously poured, I wish we could be in there now, fresh pint from your friendly local bartender, and they were serving it up to you, how would you grudge the barbarian bugbear down da?
I would assume it's a badly poured pint and blow the top of the head off, and then drink.
and thus the end of this this legacy of hatred and revenge is killed with just one nice little hand axe to the back of the head.
Yeah.
As you take in your surroundings and the bloodlust fades from the more berserker of those amongst you, the barge you were sent here, or rather you went here to rob, is slowly pulling to a stop near the wooden tree. They're trying to make their way through. The first barge is kind of doing it. It is 10 past 10. So what I would like is, given the bloody murder you just served up on the riverbank, these local merchants with their insurance aren't going to put up much of a fight. All of you get like a little vignette scene of the. You realize now there are 8 carriages on this, or not 8 carriages. That's a train, Ben. That's the thing. We stole this train.
Classic boat
Both
mistake.
tracks.
Pro tip to anyone playing Red Dead Redemption 2 in this self-isolation: wait till the trains get into tunnels. That's how you avoid the bounty. As it sails through, first barge, captain supplies. Second and third barge, passengers. Fourth, personal vaults and letters. Fifth, building supplies. Sixth, weaponry. Wait, I've gotten this wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've lost a barge. Anyway, it goes captain, passengers, personal vaults and letters, building supplies, weaponry, livestock, grain, booze, and fabrics. So there's kind of a selection of things you can steal. I will go from Grud, who undoubtedly is the MVP of his own backstory. I didn't want it to be that way. I actually forgot a note that said, Lambhog forces you to take Grud along with you, like a cousin you don't want to hang out with. But Muggins here forgot to mention that part.
It's fortunate we didn't meet Lambhog because he treats Grud like shit. So I think he just painted a picture that they're best mates.
So Grud, with an open and fragile and cowering barge in front of you, what plunder would you like to take?
Straight to the booze. Like without a
Straight to the
doubt,
booze.
straight to the booze.
I'll move across the layout as we have it. Willam, your turn on just kind of general plunder and booty, and how do you?
I think Willam is kind of a chaotic character, so I'm going to roll a d8 to see which one I go into. What's 5? 5 was that
1,
weapons?
2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Depends on whether you're going from the front to back or back to front.
Front to back.
Building supplies, wood, masonry.
I take as much concrete as I can. Fill my boots.
Wait, so you're gonna have to get off the boat.
2 kilograms.
Water, you're just gonna sink to the bottom and drown.
Just,
Freshly made
I bring
concrete.
nails, like a hammer, wood. Like I'm just so delighted.
What you guys see from a distance is like some planks go from the barge to the riverbank, and Wilhelm, like Popeye, building a construct for all of oil, just bringing back and forth supplies. Classic cartoon dust and hammers and nails going up.
He's building another barge. Oh,
Kinniger Scraggs, our special guest Tony Cantwell. What would you like to steal from this barge?
I would like to steal, rob the people. I think you see a side of Kinniger Scraggs. You haven't seen it at this point. Like, give me your puppet.
As the veil of charm just like fallen.
Just
And Kinnigar Scraggs, the slaver.
how do you think you got that little dancing girl? She was on a barge one day.
Yeah, you get a harem of hula girls.
Exactly.
Happy to go, honestly. Barge life was not the life they were promised, and they're happy to join this gang as your personal harem. Men
Thank
and
you. I
women,
would take them.
everyone.
I take the people.
We've already done Grud. Gordon's cordial.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming that the guys will be able to do their hoarding as I do this, but I'm just gonna set the whole thing on fire because I find, and as I do, I set the first barge. Say, this was very rude. Set the second barge. This is very impolite. Third barge. Please don't return to this land. And I just
you get to the fourth. You get to the third passenger barge, and a small boy with spiky hair goes, please, before you kill me, you've such a wonderful voice.
I bat him.
He's knocked away. She's in the river now.
No, the passenger barge. I was hoping I'd like to let Scraggs get as much as possible out that he would find useful, but the rest are rude ruffians for entering our land.
As your plunder, of which you can take a plenty, slowly burns away, what would you like to take?
Being that he is a trickster, I was going to take you said one of them was letters, personal letters?
Personal vaults and letters. Yeah, the posts that they were delivering on behalf of.
Yeah, he's going to take all the posts and then use that to trick people. He's going to mess with the letters and send out a bunch of mail
fraud. That's the best prank there is.
I mean, it's such a great prank.
As these barges sink into the river, and you all find yourself with a red outline around this area of the map with a bounty, you make your way galloping back towards your camp in this fort, handing over 20% of everything. So one hula woman is offered up to Lamb Hog, unfortunately. Some burning ash. And a letter out of your package. It's addressed to a one Hook Flynnsire of the field. Never gets delivered.
This has bit me in the ass.
and maybe some other love letters, or please get out of the house. It has asbestos. Something that just is warning them of impending terrors. A successful heist, as heists go. I would like to say thanks to all of you for playing in this mad homebrew isolation. It's a little bit of a different game because we sort of just do mad little one shots and let the night take us where we will. Before we call it a night, one last time for our special guest Tony Cantwell. Tony, you're more than welcome to join us back time when we're here in 2 weeks. But I know you're a busy man with a busy schedule, so
I'll come back.
So we can complete this. There's 3 other Arlington, or 2 other, now that you've done one, 2 other Arlington backstories. So by all means, we can stay in the dirty bitch boys, or we'll move either way. We'll do because now that you exist, Kinniger Scraggs exists in the world of Hibernia. So in the main campaign, who knows?
Yeah,
the
I
last
want
one
to
will pass for Arlington.
Scraggs in Arlington, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Come back when we're allowed finally meet in real life and be once again back in Keelan's virtual background on Zoom. His real house. Lovely to have you back. Again, more than welcome to come back in 2 weeks. Just 2 other things. You've only used up like 1 day of your week of 2 days or your week of downtime. So who knows what will happen. But where can people find you in the meantime? If people haven't had enough Tony Cantwell, where can they get you?
You can get me Tony Horror on all the soch. You can listen to my podcast, Tony Cantwell Shit Show, on where you get podcasts, and I have a Patreon where I'm doing 5 extra podcasts a month for people who are willing to pay me the price of a Kinniger Scraggy Pale Ale once a month.
A bargain at twice.
And thank you very much.
Let's we'll wrap it up there. I hope everyone has had a wonderful, if you're watching live, evening. If you're watching video on demand on YouTube, couple of hours where you probably second screened us maybe playing Red Dead Redemption 2. So much earlier on in this episode.
You're really
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Ben, are you doing that right now?
I've just been secretly playing. I've created all of you as my gang. In real time.
I would explain the whole
rolling
train
dice.
gap, so that's good call.
Yeah, exactly. Until then, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time for another Homebrew Isolation, and we'll be back hopefully soon for the Homebrew main campaign. Look after yourselves, look after each other, stay home, stay safe. Good night, and joy be to you all.
Joy to you all.
Farewell.
Trying a new intro. The last one used to be
I like
sound, and I went for a parting glass reference. So.
Dum, 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 dum.